Hello to all dear Manhwa lovers. I hope you're having an amazing day. Before we begin, I want to send a very special shout out to those who left comments on the previous video. A huge hug and a special greeting to Nyx Anime, who managed to leave the first comment on the last video. You're the fastest of them all. Thank you so much. Now, without further ado, let's dive into this incredible summary. Afterward, John and Luna were in a room about to talk about how many times they had prayed with Yae, which made both girls nervous. Luna wanted to clarify that she hadn't exactly prayed with him, saying it was just mutual help to seek well-being from their God. For that, in general terms, was having a mass. John admitted she had done it, but added that one time it was for math problems, although interpreted it as several times. All the girls started laughing before falling into an awkward silence. Felt depressed, not knowing when everything had started to go so wrong. She didn't know if it was when she hid John in the closet while they were praying, or when she failed to take care of Yae. But she knew she had been very busy with her club activities lately. In the present, was waiting until she heard Yae's voice. He asked if the sigh she let out earlier was because the movie had been boring. Denied it, saying she had enjoyed herself. As they left, Yae wanted to know what they would do next, suggesting they grab something to eat, to which agreed. While walking, Yae commented that he was quite surprised she contacted him out of the blue, as he thought they were going to talk about what happened that morning, but he didn't expect it to be to watch a movie. For that was already in the past, though she found it curious that he and Luna had that kind of relationship, although Yae denied having anything with her, understood he was telling the truth. Began to recall that before leaving, John had asked what her relationship with Yae would be from that moment on. Nervously, she commented that she didn't want to say anything strange but knew that nothing had been decided yet. For that reason, she wanted to know if any of them wanted to have a formal relationship with Yae. Luna quickly denied it, saying she had no desire for it whatsoever, that she didn't want to date him or flirt with him. John wanted to know what thought, but was nervous about answering. She believed things were fine as they were, which she said out loud. Yae asked what she had said, but responded that it was nothing. As they had already finished eating, Yae, who had enjoyed the food so much, thanked and offered to buy her an expensive dessert as a token of appreciation, which embarrassed her. While Yae was looking for a place to go, wondered why her heart suddenly started racing, as she usually acted perfectly in front of others and could easily shrug things off. She recalled telling the girls that everything was fine as it was, since none of them were thinking of dating Yae. Believed that if Yae liked things as they were and, above all, had said nothing, there was no need to worry. However, she secretly felt there was a need to distrust others and reminded herself to just be as she had always been. When Yae asked what they should do next because the last bus was about to leave, grabbed the chalice, assuming it was what Yae was expecting. Yae asked if she knew what it was, and pretended not to know, noticing how cute he looked as he tried to hide it. The chalice's glow was very noticeable and impossible to conceal. Yae reminded her that he had previously said it was something normal. Admitted he had said that, but remarked that if she mentioned its intense glow, Yae might brag about it, though he wasn't that type of person. Wanted to know what they would do, since she wasn't the type of girl to fall for anyone easily, even if the guy wanted her to. Yae asked her to stop teasing him, and smiled as she came up with a brilliant idea. She wanted to clean the chalice herself, and if Yae managed to keep holy water from spilling out within 5 minutes, they would go somewhere else to pray, but if won, they would each go home. She asked Yae if he was willing to bet. Yae asked if it would be there, and confirmed, saying she wasn't joking. Yae understood it wasn't a joke, but was worried about how risky it seemed, assumed he didn't want to, which Yae denied, but he noticed that was acting differently than usual. He explained that he wasn't up for what she was suggesting since it would be his first time outdoors. This would also be new for South. When Yae asked her about this, nervously admitted she hadn't done it before, apologized, and said she wanted to go home to sleep. Suddenly, Yae took her arm, making So's heart race even more, but Yae came up with a good idea. Meanwhile, John was in her room about to send a message but changed her mind, wondering why she couldn't do it. She remembered the secret code she had with Yae, but now every action reminded her of fragments of her outing with him. She wondered if she was thinking too much about him, and what she should do until she heard a knock at her door. It was her mom, who asked if she wasn't sleeping yet. John replied that she was about to go to bed. Her mom reminded her she had promised to sleep early if it wasn't exam season. John apologized, saying she would go to sleep. Her mom asked her to rest, saying it wouldn't be good for her skin otherwise, which John agreed to with an expressionless face. Meanwhile, So and Yai hid inside the slides, wanting to eat their ice cream without being disturbed. They agreed to stay quiet so they wouldn't be discovered and kicked out. Before starting to eat, So asked Ye to call her Nuna from now on, but if he felt uncomfortable, he could keep calling her Sunbi, although she found it distant. If he called her that, she would call him Seisi affectionately, though Yai found it a bit disappointing. So was open to hearing nickname suggestions. Yai took a small bite of his ice cream, surprising. So, as she felt he was cheating and still hadn't answered her question. Then she heard Yai say that she could call him whatever she wanted, her Nuna, which intrigued Zoe, who wanted him to repeat it. However, Yai realized that Zoe was already acting as she usually did. Yai noticed Zoe was nervous, although perhaps it was just his imagination. The Zoe he knew was someone he could easily talk to and who always seemed friendly. Just seeing her made him feel calm, but that day, he noticed she was too nervous instead of relaxed. However, Yai thought that this side of Zoe was quite cute and hoped she could return to her usual self. Zoe, hearing this, felt happy and explained to him that she was trying to act cool because she always saw him as distracted and shy. She hoped that by eating his ice cream, he would stop saying arrogant things. We then moved to a memory of Yai, who recalled the first time he saw someone holding a mass in the middle of the night on a hill. He could see them from his apartment and thought those people were crazy since someone might see them. He never expected to have to deal with something similar, although now he was doing something like that himself. For him, this was even more dangerous. The two young people started eating their ice cream, but since it was raining, Yai suddenly got scared, thinking someone had found them. Unfortunately for him, Zoe had won the competition by finishing her ice cream first. A little later, Zoe thanked Yai for accompanying her home, which confused him since he thought they weren't going their separate ways. Zoe reminded him of their deal, saying that if he was upset, he could keep playing with Fifi at his house because she had made a promise. She bid him farewell and told him she would see him at the university the next day. At the university, John couldn't do much with Zoe, even after several days. It wasn't that they didn't talk, but they didn't do anything related to their belief in God. Zoe only played around with him while they ate. One day she invited him to watch movies. Another day, she asked his opinion about her new clothes. The next, even when Yai tried to propose something, Zoe always rejected it, saying it wasn't the time. At the station, Zoe tested Yai's patience by grabbing the food they had bought. Despite that, Zoe asked if he wouldn't let her go, which Yai denied. He had figured out her plan and asked them to get off at the next stop. Even though she understood the hint, Zoe asked what would happen if she didn't comply. In response, Yai grabbed the food more firmly. Though she was embarrassed, Yai showed great determination. When they arrived at a magical town, Yai started performing a shadow jutsu since Zoe seemed a bit strange. She responded vaguely to his question, and the boy asked if she wanted them to pray on the train because of her actions. Zoe admitted that she wanted everyone to see how they preached God's word. However, although she was willing to pray, she told Yai she didn't feel like believing in Jesus. She suggested they go home, but since Yai knew she wanted to play around, he had to tie her to a chair. Ye was prepared for situations like this because the magical town they were in was for Christians. Now Yai promised he would restore her faith in God and show her why she should believe. No matter what, he wouldn't use the chalice to pray. Before that, Yai began eating a danonino to get Zoe to admit that she wanted to hold a mass. Meanwhile, Luna was watching a video about how to be a good teacher and how to treat a diligent student until she was startled by her mom yelling at her to answer the phone. Checking it, she saw it was January. When she answered, she apologized for not seeing the call earlier and asked why John was looking for her. John, slightly worried about contacting her so suddenly, wanted to know if Luna was with Yai at that very moment. We returned to the boy, who was eating his danonino, but seeing that it was a bit frozen and dripping more water than usual, Zoe asked if it was bad since it might be different from John's or Luna's. Yai saw no problem with it since he liked it better that way. After finishing it, Ye wanted to start the mass, as there was no reason not to unless Zoe took back her words. He wouldn't listen to her otherwise. Additionally, from now on, he wouldn't take any more orders from her since he would take the initiative. Thus, they narrate a small story from long ago in a faraway land where a fox and a sheep lived. The fox had a grand plan to raise the little lamb so that when it was big enough, he could devour it. However, the fox never expected the little lamb to grow so quickly and become quite strong. While Ye continued with his mass, Zoe, deep in thought, hoped Yai would be the one to bring her down from the clouds so she could preach the word of God. She would never say yes on her own, as she didn't want to be identified as someone easy. At that moment, Zoe managed to free herself easily from the bindings. Despite Yai being impressed by her strength, it was mainly because the chains were just toys. They continued with their worship, but Zoe felt her chest start to warm as she prayed with Yae. It became so intense that she couldn't resist and ended up receiving the holy water to purify her soul. Although Yae's phone was buzzing, Zoe could only think about her feelings. She told Yae that she wanted to continue purifying her soul, despite having received the holy water. It wouldn't change anything. Additionally, she admitted that she liked Yae, something he didn't fully understand. Zoe repeated that she liked him. After this, we see Zoe taking a bath, worried about what she had said. Meanwhile, Yae remained frozen by the girl's words because he now thought about how, for him, a date always meant rejection, whether in high school, university, or with his first girlfriend, who didn't last long. He had always had bad experiences with dating. He wondered if Zoe really liked him. He also remembered when Luna indirectly confessed to him and how John wanted to know what she felt first, before deciding if he could confess his feelings to the boy. Yae couldn't understand why he was remembering all of this. Zoe noticed how distracted he was and commented that he was acting that way because of Luna and John, which embarrassed him a little. The girl told him not to worry and that they didn't have to date since no law required two people to be together just because one had confessed. What she had just said was more of a whim, but Yae immediately hugged her, saying he wanted to be with her if she agreed. This left Zoe quite confused. On their way back, the two held hands. For Zoe, it was a little embarrassing, even though she didn't know why. She thought they had done so many things before, but now just holding hands with Yae made her heart beat faster than usual. Yae, on the other hand, wondered if he was in a dream, since now his Nuna was his girlfriend. He remembered the first time he prayed with her, and how she waited for him after he skipped his classes. He also remembered when she asked to be called Ona, and how she confessed her love to him. This embarrassed Yae because he kept wondering if he really liked her. At that moment, Zoe noticed something and asked Yae if they could do it since she saw a photo booth poster for sticker pictures. Zoe thought it would be nice to have a keepsake, because she felt it was a good day to commemorate, and she believed a photo would make it memorable. This captivated Yae, so they went to take the pictures. In the first photo, they came out very embarrassed. In the second, they made a peace sign. In the third, they made a funny face. And in the fourth, Yae sneezed, which was really funny. Both Zoe and Yae were a little disappointed with their photos, but Zoe wouldn't throw them away because she didn't want to waste money and hoped he would keep them too. Even so, Zoe proposed taking more photos, despite feeling embarrassed. She asked him not to lose them because of the effort it took, something Yae wouldn't do. This last photo was taken to remember the day forever. That afternoon, despite being almost near Zoe's house, Yae asked what they should do now, as he had never had a real relationship and didn't know what to do first. Zoe found it funny because he had said earlier that he would take the initiative, referring to the masses. Although Zoe asked him what kind of masses he meant, since she was too young to understand, Yae realized she was teasing him. Zoe then suggested that if he wasn't tired, they could go inside, have a drink, and watch a movie, or even have a mass, until John suddenly appeared, hugging Yae. Zoe was surprised to see John hugging him and was completely confused, but Yae wanted to know what was wrong with John and wondered why she was there. Amid tears, John asked Yae to marry her, leaving both Zoe and Yae stunned. At that moment, Luna also arrived, shouting to the girl that no one was at Zoe's house, only to realize that both of them had already arrived. That night, John wasn't entirely in her right mind, but Zoe understood it was because she had a hard time at a family wedding. Luna had taken her for some juice and planned to take her home afterward, but John insisted on seeing Zoe and Yae, which is why she ran off. Although it wasn't hard for Luna to catch up with her, she was impressed by how fast she ran. Luna was also surprised that the two had spent so much time together, as no one had seen them all day. She asked if something had happened between them, and Yae quickly told her that Zoe and he were now a couple and hoped everyone would look after them. This left Luna speechless, as he said it so casually. John, in a chilling manner, asked Zoe if she wasn't the one who was going to enter a relationship with Yae, reminding him of a promise they made. Yae wondered why she used such a serious term for something like that, until Luna mentioned that he was trying to date both girls. Yae quickly explained it was a misunderstanding, and Zoe was also shocked that Yae had confessed to John before her. Yae pleaded with her to wait, as that wasn't what had happened. Despite this, Zoe wanted to think more about their relationship, which confused Yae. John also asked him if he had forgotten their relationship, to which Yae begged everyone to calm down. The next afternoon, we see Yae tied up while Luna prepared to start a conversation. Yae didn't understand what was going on, but the girls were about to have a session on how to divide Yae, leaving him speechless. Luna wanted to begin the discussion with her as the judge, first pointing out that Zoe had made a move and persuaded the girls to maintain a status quo, but then crossed the line. Zoe didn't intend to do so. But the moment got to her. John, meanwhile, was the one crying on the floor over Yae, claiming he was hers, and that if anyone wanted to do something with him, they had to ask her permission. This embarrassed her greatly because she didn't remember it that way. Luna had recorded everything from the previous night and wanted to show the footage to prove she wasn't lying, which made both John and Zoe remember everything. Luna asked which of the two wanted a formal relationship with Yae, but both were too embarrassed to answer. Yae couldn't believe it, as it seemed like he was in a courtroom. Luna then asked if neither of them wanted to date him, and both admitted it wasn't that they didn't want to, giving vague answers. When Yae was about to ask Luna what was happening, she put her foot on him, asking him to remain silent since they were in this mess because of him. Yae could only apologize. Luna then had a bright idea. She believed Yae should decide who he wanted to be with. Luna thought it didn't matter whom he chose, as that girl would end up with him, so she asked him directly whom he wanted to be in a relationship with. Yae wondered who it should be since both John and Zoe were waiting for his answer. For Yae, it was difficult because the night before, Zoe had mentioned that it wasn't that she didn't like him. She just wanted to think about it more. Even so, she seemed sad and wanted to be careful not to pressure him, which was why she needed time. When he turned to look at Yeon, Yae remembered how she had cried because she wanted to be with him and because she wanted to confess to him first. These memories made his mind go blank. He didn't know how everything had ended up in this situation and was aware that if he chose one of them, things might not end well, especially since one of them could end up crying. He also questioned whether the entire situation was appropriate. Luna noticed his expression and proposed another idea. Since it was a difficult decision, Luna suggested Yae should stay with her, as he couldn't decide between the two girls, but clearly wanted to be with someone. To her, the solution lay in choosing an alternative option. Everyone screamed in disbelief. Luna admitted she had no personal interest in Yae, and that the others could continue doing whatever they wanted with him, as she saw him as a good purchase. Even so, both John and Zoe wondered what sense it made for Luna to date him, especially because it would be even stranger for her to be with him. Luna slammed the table and, in a chilling manner, said she didn't care about things that didn't make sense. Starting with Zoe, who, despite saying that everyone should get along, was the first to break the rule. For Luna, what she hated most in the world was people breaking rules. She then proceeded to scold John, and her reprimand lasted about 5 hours. In the end, they all agreed to continue getting along. If you're wondering, Yae ended up alone. Despite this, when the girls left, they said goodbye as each of them went home. Yae was confused since he had invited them for a drink before leaving. He could only sigh because he couldn't do anything about it, and above all, agreed that he had done something that led to misunderstandings. He supposed he could feel at ease, as they had agreed that everyone would get along. However, each of the girls was actually very embarrassed now that everyone knew who they liked.